Okay, this turned out to be way easier than I thought I would. I figured I'd have to spend a couple days figuring out how to make this flat, but I came up with a really cool technique, so this is actually really easy. I wanted to show you this because it's a lot easier to do it in a video than to try to type out things. So this is basically what it is. And I've just got two colors here. I like the contrasting colors on the top or whatever. I mean, I can, one thing nice about this is on this I can pick a section and I can say, you know, what's that look like if I were to make that color, or this. So that's kind of nice. You can see what it would look like. But I mean, for the test one anyways, everything doesn't really matter. So here's this, and here is how it goes together. First of all, we've got an outer box, and I'm going to hide the other stuff to show you. This is the assembly for the outer box, and I'm going to hide these for right now. So basically these two here, this one and this one, the two top ones are identical and the two bottom ones are identical. And then on this side, these two sides are identical, and then the bottom piece. So those glue together fairly straightforward. This next piece, the ones I hid, you will glue those in with the next step. You don't want to glue those in too quick, because the next thing would be the slider mechanism. And I'll hide the outer box here. So this essentially all gets glued together. There's a straight piece, and then there's a blocker in the back, and then there's two short pieces that go in sideways basically to create the key inside. And the way those lock into the outer box is they will go in here, they'll snug in there, and then this other outer piece will get placed in and then glued just on the top part and the bottom here, so that this whole mechanism is then free to slide back and forth like this with the slot. And then same thing on the other side. So that is the outer box and the mechanism part of the box. And then after that, there is the inner box, and then also the lid. Now this piece is a decorative piece that's not actually required. If you wanted to do a type of a pattern or something on the top, this would be good, because without it, we'll see the inner bits like this anyways. But for the test, we don't need that piece. So I'll hide this lid piece again. So here is the inside, and I'm going to hide the outer box layers, and I'll go ahead and hide these slider layers too. So the inner box basically goes around, and we technically don't need these two right here. These two are used basically to block this so that it looks better and also gives strength, because I'm afraid these might get a little weak if they don't have that support. So those would get all glued together into the inner box, and then that gets the lid on it. So there is the inner box. So that's it. It's a lot of pieces. And the other thing is, because we've got a box inside of a box, and we need to test some mechanism to make sure that you can actually fit that inside, it might be good to make this. This would be just a quick test file that has a square and then another square inside of it, because we want to make sure that we can actually fit this here without too much friction, because we want to be able to pull that box out. So that might be a good thing to try instead of just going for the whole box, but I can give you those files as well. So the solve on it is basically going to be, if you're going to build it, you're going to know how it has to go anyway. So if you try to move these initially, they won't move. They're going to be locked. And I'll just open up one side here so we can see here. And I need the inner box. Okay. And actually, let me hide that. There we go. So initially this key is right here. It locks into that place. And I may round these corners just a little bit to allow a little forgiveness too on this. So they won't be able to move the slider back and forth. What they will be able to do is move the inner box. So I'm going to select that, and then I'll select the lid object here. Okay, so the box will move up, and this wouldn't move. Come on, deselect. Let's do that again. I'll go inner box, select objects, select that. Okay, so initially the box would move up, and they would move up about that far, and that's it, and it's going to be stuck. And the sliders still will not move on the side because they're blocked out. You can see that mechanism there in front of me if they pull up. Now if they pull up just a little bit, that will allow the sliders to go both directions. And if they move the slider this way, they're going to hit a dead end, and that won't make any sense. If they go this way, it will allow, here, I'll just go ahead and do this. If I go this way, it will allow another move up. So I'll go inner box, and I'll say select. That will allow the box to go up to here, and then it will stop again. And now they're going to have to move the slider again, and if they move it all the way over this way until it stops, that will allow them to once again lift the box up. But if they do that, I'll just pull up this piece. If they do that piece, it'll get stuck right there. So what they really need to do at this point is move that slider back, and this is actually the neutral position again. And at that point, the inner box would be allowed to lift up, and the two pieces would separate. So that's how it works, and that's how it goes together. I will be able to diagram that all out for you, but I think it's nearly ready. I just have to figure out if we need tolerances for the inner box. So let me know, and if you have time, go ahead and print it. That's it. Bye.